For 135 years, we've been helping families through the hardest times of their lives. That's because we're a family as well. When your family loses a loved one, we're here to help. We're Brown Funeral Home in Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson. We're here when you need us.
We have the tools, we have the talent. It's Miller time.
It's Miller time on Talk Radio WRNR. A look at local sports with the play-by-play voice of local sports, Matt Miller.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome into Miller time on a Friday night.
What are you doing here?
Hey, what are you doing here?
I'm supposed to be here on Friday nights. What are you doing here?
Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to be at Coburn Field for a high school football game, but the said game has been postponed, as they say.
Is that what they say?
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be played tomorrow night. Musselman at Martinsburg.
Well, keep the anticipation going.
There was the discussion yesterday. Thursday is typically the afternoon that I'll get over to Martinsburg High School in the doghouse and get a chance to talk with some of the coaches and some of the interviews that you hear here on usually Thursday night when we preview, and then Friday night as we kind of look ahead to that Martinsburg game. And we talk to our senior player and so forth. And there was some conversation going on yesterday about, man, the forecast does not look good Friday night. It could be heavy rain that will be rolling through the area and at game time. So Coach Walker gave me the heads up yesterday that this was a possibility, but said a decision would be made probably Friday morning. So waking up this morning, the forecast still said, hey, you know, probably going to get some good rains during what would be game time. And so the coaching staffs spoke to one another and decided, you know what, let's go ahead and make it a Saturday night game at 7 o'clock and, you know, make it maybe a little easier on the fans and I'm sure the players and coaches alike.
Yeah, looking at the weather right now, the forecast for tonight, and this is just for tonight, not accumulating all day. Accumulating all day, I guess would be the right word to use there. 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of rain just tonight. So it would have been a very damp evening out at Coburn Field.
Yes. So the decision was made about 8 a.m. this morning. We've done our best to get that word out throughout the course of a busy on-air day today and put it on our Facebook page as well. I know it's
busy on-air week.
Yeah. I know it's been out there as well in a lot of other venues. And so hopefully everyone is fully aware now that the Musselman at Martinsburg game will not be played tonight. It will be played tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and we'll be on the air with our pregame at 6 on our AM, FM, our website, our app, and as well on WRNR TV on YouTube and TV 10 in Berkeley and Jefferson County. So you've got all those ways you can catch the game tomorrow.
Well, it's a Friday, so let's keep this as normal as possible, even though timing-wise, we had college football last night. We're going to have our high school game tomorrow night, but there are still games going on around the Eastern Panhandle tonight. In fact, all the other games are still scheduled for tonight.
Yes, I made sure to get a hold of each of the athletic directors during the course of the morning and say, hey, we're getting word about Martinsburg. Any thoughts on your part? And for the most part, it was, you know, there's rain in the forecast, but not thunderstorms. So we'll play through rain.
But we're going to keep it like we do every Friday night. We're going to break down all the matchups. And for anybody watching on TV 10, the TV 10 coverage locally will stop at 6 o'clock tonight. Usually we do, if there's no game, we do at least local content through 10 o'clock. That will not happen tonight. We are going strictly till 6, but tomorrow the coverage will pick back up at 6 for the official pregame show with kickoff at 7 p.m., and that'll go till 10:30 tomorrow night. So no chance of cutting out early, and all the postgame shows should be on and all that fun stuff. With that being said, let's get into looking around the Eastern Panhandle when it comes to high school football. We won't have time to really break it down, you and I, tomorrow, so let's talk a little bit Musselman at Martinsburg. It's a 2-3 matchup across the state. I have to look on here because you never changed that. In anticipation, we all thought it was going to be the one.
Don't tell anybody.
We all thought it was going to be the 1-2 matchup.
That was just for us to know.
I just like making funny. It's okay. But the Applemen come in at 8-0. Again, we'll break down Martinsburg a little bit later when we hear from Buddy Hesen and Britt Sherman, the defensive coordinator and special forces coordinator. So right now, let's just look at the Applemen. Coming in as the third best team in AAA across the Mountain State. Again, we've said this all year. You can't talk about football in the Panhandle and not mention Musselman. They've won 8 games so far this year and are looking to be either a undefeated team or a one-loss team and still in the top 5 going into the playoffs. They're playing extremely good football so far this year and have won every single way possible there is to win.
They've won high-scoring affairs. They've won blowout affairs. They've won close games. They've won close, low-scoring games. They've had to rally to get that win against Hedgesville. Remember, Hedgesville took a 7-6 lead after Musselman had led 6-0. And so, after, Musselman had led 6-0. Hedgesville rallied for a 7-6 lead, and the final was 12-7 as Musselman got that win. So, they've found ways to win, and that's a scary team to play because it's a team that's going to come in with some confidence that says, we're never really out of it, and whether things are going our way, we know how to handle that and not get carried away and think, okay, this one's in the bag. And at the same time, if it's not going our way, we know just stay with our game plan, keep doing what we're doing, and we're going to be there in the end.
The Applemen are coming off a 70-6 win at home against Washington last week. That was the week after the Washington bye week. Musselman's been playing for the last couple weeks. Martinsburg has won 18 in a row in this series, including last year's matchup, which was very similar circumstances. Musselman did come in with a loss last year.
7-1.
They had fallen to Morgantown prior to this game last year at home. But the Dogs have won 18 in a row in this series, and I expect this year, just because of what we just talked about with Musselman, and just Martinsburg is, I think, still just as good as they were last year, but they're good. They're better in different ways. So I expect this game to be a little bit closer than it was last year.
Yeah, when you look at it, last year's matchup was a 4 versus, I believe, 1 matchup at that time. Martinsburg was 1 in the state, and Musselman was 4. This year it's that 2-3 matchup. And to me, that score last year, and depending on the outcome of this game tomorrow night, is going to give you a little bit of an indication of the gap that exists between your top couple of teams and then that next tier of teams. Because every year, in every classification, you've got so many teams at the top, whether it's 2, whether it's 4, whether it's 6, that, you kind of go, these are contenders. And then right under them, you've got teams that you go, if these teams come out and play one of their top games, if they can play what we like to call a mistake-free game, not that there ever is one, but then they could upset one of these other teams. And then you begin to get into your middle-of-the-road teams that go, this is a good high school football team, but they're not quite ready to compete. That's where I'm kind of anxious to see how this one plays out tomorrow.
To see where you can make those divides at.
Right.
Within the top 16, or really the top, really through all of AAA,
Yep.
But the bottom half is pretty much going to be the bottom half no matter what.
We know Spring Valley has kind of set themselves apart right now in the southern part of the state.
Yes.
And Martinsburg has so far set itself apart up here in the, if you will, northern part of the state. Musselman has a win over Wheeling Park, which is even further north, a win over Morgantown. So if Martinsburg goes out and takes care of business against Musselman, they will, set themselves up then as that team to beat in the northern part of the state, if you will. But if Musselman pulls the upset, and obviously it will be a mild upset, they're the 3, Martinsburg's the 2. And when you look at what Martinsburg's been doing, winners of 37 in a row, undefeated each of the last 2 seasons and trying to make it 3 straight undefeated years, if they can pull that upset, they establish themselves as the team to beat in the northern part of the state.
Again, pregame tomorrow, 6 p.m. right here on Talk Radio, WRNR, TV 10, or WRNR TV. Search that on YouTube. 7 p.m. will be the kickoff from Coburn Field. All right, games in action tonight. North Hagerstown is at Spring Mills. Spring Mills has lost 4 of their last 5, and quite frankly, this is a code red game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how is this team going to come out and respond? They scored and had plenty of yards last week, as we heard from Chad Williams on Wednesday, but defensively, they didn't get it done.
Yeah, it's tough to be coming off a 59-34 loss when your offense had over 500 yards.
And again, it doesn't get any easier. They've had a pretty good schedule that they have played this year. When you look at that strength of schedule, wins for the teams that they have played, it's not going to be an easy one tonight. Will the weather be an equalizer in one way or another? We'll find out.
Completely different squads from last year where Spring Mills got the win in this. matchup last year, 19-7. North Hagerstown comes in winners of 3 of their last 4 at 5-3. Spring Mills 3-5. South Hagerstown, a couple of Hagerstown teams coming to the Panhandle tonight. South Hagerstown will be at Jefferson, homecoming for the Jefferson Cougars. Jefferson comes in at 1-7. South Hagerstown has won 3 in a row and is 6-2. Jefferson coming off the lopsided loss at home against Martinsburg last week, 70-0. They lost 18 of 19. Need I say more?
Hopefully they can put it together tonight. They've got some talented athletes.
They do. We saw it last week. The size is there.
Yep.
They have athletes in skill positions. It's just a matter of putting that all together.
I was going to say, at times, they did a very nice job defending Martinsburg and or making a play to begin to move the football. The problem was they couldn't be consistent enough at doing it to get off the field defensively and or to stay on the field offensively.
Yeah, offensively, it was mistakes at the wrong time. The pick 6 that Martinsburg had, Trey Sign had, that he took back on the second drive of the game.
First
offensive drive of the game. And that was just a case where Jefferson had moved the ball a little bit, and then a throw that just was a couple feet away where it needed to be. And just like that, goes from Jefferson moving the ball a little bit to a 14-0 lead for Martinsburg.
And they were never able to recover.
No. Again, 7 p.m. kickoff there tonight. South Hagerstown won this matchup 34-7 last year. The game, I think, that is not necessarily going to be a great game, but it's an intriguing game. If it wasn't for the Musselman Martinsburg game, well, let's put it this way. This is the most intriguing game tonight. Not necessarily for this weekend, but tonight only, with the Martinsburg game being tomorrow night. 1-7 Hampshire at 0-8 Washington. Does Washington have what it takes, and can they get win number 1 on the season tonight?
Well, as you've mentioned, the low numbers may be the thing that hurts them tonight.
22 players dressed on the sideline against Musselman.
Yeah, obviously you're going to have all of those guys ready to go and, get some guys some rest at some point whenever you can, because with that few of numbers, you got a lot of guys going both ways. Hey, look, they showed they can score some points. Look at that Frankfurt game. So if they can put together an effort like that, I think they have a chance in this matchup with Hampshire.
Washington won last year 23-20. Hampshire coming off their first victory of the year against AA Berkeley Springs last week. That was a 52-18 game, but Berkeley Springs is AA, and Berkeley Springs is, let's just say, not playing very good football so far this year, so I'm not sure how quality of a win that was for Hampshire, but still, they have one win in the win column. Washington's still looking for their first win. 7 p.m. kickoff from Charlestown tonight. And Hedgesville is on a bye this week. They will have their season finale next week when they host Spring Mills. We will have that game right here on Talk Radio, WRNR, and TV10. But they're on a bye at 6-3, coming off a win at Hampshire last week, 42-13.
Yeah, talking to Coach Urish, it comes at a good time where they can get some guys healthy, play this last game, and then make their way into the playoffs. But at the same time, he'd like to keep a little momentum rolling after the win last week.
Hedgesville sitting in the number 10 spot right now in the latest rankings. So they're a couple spots away from that number 8 spot, which would get them a home playoff game. But the way the points are looking right now, it would be awful tough for them to get into the playoffs. But if Spring Mills can get a win tonight against North Hagerstown, that makes next week's game Hedgesville fighting for a home playoff game and Spring Mills most likely fighting for a playoff spot. So that could be a pretty enticing game if Spring Mills can get the win over North Hagerstown tonight. All right, that's what's going on in high school football tonight, and looking ahead to tomorrow. We'll break down Martinsburg a little bit more after this break. We got to get in the break.
Let's do it. We'll hear from the defensive coordinator and the special teams coordinator for the Bulldogs in just a moment. All right, 20 minutes after 5 o'clock. You're listening to Miller Time.
Doctor, what is it?
I don't know.
You wouldn't trust a clueless doctor, so why trust a clueless candidate? When asked about important community issues, John Hardy's answer?
I don't really know. Well, I can't come up with a plan. I don't really know.
Vote for someone who knows how to bring real solutions home to Berkeley County and has the energy to get it done. Vote Sam Brown for the House of Delegates, 63rd District.
Man, this sucks. Year after year. We need some new energy around here. Yep, including the House of Delegates. That's why I'm voting for Sam Brown. Sam's got the energy, passion, and know-how to get things done. Yes, he does. And he's so dedicated to making our community a better place. Yes. Sam Brown is the game changer Berkeley County needs. Vote Sam Brown for House of Delegates, 63rd District. Paid for by the committee to elect Sam Brown.
Hesen with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. It is 5 wins in a row for the Houston Texans. They took a 2-game lead in the AFC South after a convincing win against the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. Deshaun Watson leading the way with 5 touchdown passes on the night. The final from NRG Stadium, 42-23. Meanwhile, A.J. Boye did not travel with the Jaguars to London. The Jacksonville corner ruled out for their game against the Eagles with a calf injury. Rob Gronkowski could return on Monday night against the Bills after missing Sunday's game with a back injury. Gronk limited in practice on Thursday. LaShawn McCoy also limited in practice on Thursday. His status still unknown for Monday night's matchup with the Patriots. He's in the concussion protocol. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
I used to leave voicemails for myself because the only one I could trust to get something done right was me.
Hey, you, it's me. Remember to order safety goggles and grab some milk on your way home.
But now I use Grainger. Grainger's got the technical support you'd expect from America's #1 source for industrial-grade supplies. They're in the business of helping my business, so no more talking to myself. Now I talk to Grainger, because when it comes to keeping your business running, Grainger's got your back. Call or click Grainger.com to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Let's see. Load the clothes in the washing machine. Add detergent. Turn on the washer. Wait, where's all this water coming from? Oh, no!
Disasters happen. Fire, water, and natural disasters. Tell your insurance provider you prefer Blue Ridge Property Restore. Blue Ridge Property Restore, getting you back from disaster faster.
She's gonna kill me.
Who to vote for? The Eastern Panhandle Business Association endorses Tom Bibby for House of Delegates, 62nd District. The EPBA endorses candidates who favor a sensible free enterprise agenda, and Tom Bibby fits the bill. The EPBA was impressed with what Tom Bibby had to say during the EPBA's candidate forum and by answers he provided in his candidate questionnaire. Tom Bibby favors continued reforms in education, taxes, government operation, and the legal system that move West Virginia on the path to prosperity. Vote for Tom Bibby for House of Delegates. Paid for by EPBA PAC.
I'm John Eisner, and I'm running to be the next delegate from the 59th District, representing Berkeley and Morgan counties. In office, I'll work to end the tax on Social Security so our seniors don't have to choose between getting their medication and putting food on the table. I'll fight the opioid epidemic because I've seen firsthand what it does to families. And I'll push to fix the broken infrastructure of the Eastern Panhandle. On November 6th, vote John Eisner for the House of Delegates. Let's make West Virginia the place to be, not the place to leave.
Paid for by the committee to elect John Eisner.
And we welcome you back into Mayberry as we bring you Miller Time tonight. Matt Miller in studio because there's no Martinsburg High School football game tonight. Matt Crawford in studio because
I'm always in studio.
That's where he's supposed to be. Yeah, Martinsburg, Musselman, if you've missed it, I don't know how. It's been all over the place, but they're not playing tonight with the rain in the forecast and potentially heavy rains. I know it hasn't quite developed into those heavy rains yet, but with heavy rains expected as we get into the 7, 8 o'clock and then on into the overnight hours, the decision made early this morning, let's go ahead and postpone this one so they will play tomorrow night. Let's turn to the defensive side of the football. Defensive coordinator Buddy Hesen. We talked with him on Thursday and talked with him about Musselman, but got it started asking what his thoughts were on the performance in a 70-0 win against Jefferson.
I thought we played extremely well. We went out and, executed the game plan, did the things we needed to do, and pretty much shut them down. I mean, they had, I didn't think that 100-yard draw offense. Anytime you can do that, you're going to be successful.
First possession, they're moving the ball a little bit, partially due to a penalty, and then you get the big INT. Talk to us about that series and what that meant.
Well, so, it's a big momentum changer. Of course, we get a big penalty, gives them a first down, and they think they will get some momentum, and then, Trey comes up with a big play and returns it, interception for a touchdown.
Tell us about that particular play. Was he in the right place at the right time, so to speak?
No, he was where he was supposed to be in coverage and just made a great play. And Trey played a tremendous game. I was a little disappointed with the way he played a couple of weeks ago, but since then he's really picked up his play and has been playing as good as anyone else on our defense.
How important is that when you look at the guys that are missing right now, especially in that linebacking core?
Well, especially since he's now playing the inside linebacker as opposed to outside linebacker. Now there's some situations where we'll move him out, but he's now an inside linebacker, and we did that over the course of 2 days leading up to the game, and because we envisioned him being there next year anyway. But I think it's where he feels more comfortable in there, and it's only going to make us better in the long run.
Talk to us now about the challenge this week, looking to close out a perfect regular season against a very tough opponent. What do you see in the Applemen?
Well, it starts with Blake Hartman. I mean, he's everywhere. He's their leading rusher. He's their leading receiver. I mean, they're going to hand it to him. They're going to pitch it to him. They're going to throw it to him. They're going to snap it to him. I mean, he returns kicks. He returns punts. He does all. He's a great player, and we have to be aware of where he is every play.
Is it a case where you spy somebody like that, like you might a quarterback that's mobile and can do things, or because of the multiple position he plays, that's really not possible?
Well, I mean, in certain situations, we'll be able to do some things. Other times, our defense will know where he is, and certain formations, what they're going to do out of that formation. Is he the main guy in that formation, or is he a decoy, which they do quite a bit? So I mean, we're going to have to play assignment perfect football, and they're an option. They like to run some option, and that's all option football is assignment. You got to have somebody for the pitch, somebody for the quarterback, somebody for the dive, and you have problems when somebody says, oh, they're not going to dive, I'm going to go to the quarterback, and then they pop one on you. So as long as we do what we're supposed to do, I think we'll be okay.
Coach, thank you for your time. Good luck.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Now the Dogs have typically been pretty good and pretty disciplined when it comes to that type of defense. And so we'll see if the coaching staff has them ready to do that again tomorrow night when the Bulldogs host Musselman. Let's turn quickly to special teams. Pretty good effort by the Bulldogs special teams in the win against Jefferson. Here's their coordinator, Britt Sherman.
I think we did really well. Kick coverage was a lot better. A couple decent punt returns. They do a really good job of getting the punt off quickly. So, we didn't get in to get one of those, but I thought we played well overall. We had I think 3 guys actually were players of the week. Anthony Smith did a really good job. Naeem Kearney, 2 sophomores, really work hard for us on those areas. And then Trey Sign with his one-handed catch of that punt and saving a safety and some of the other things he did with the blocked field goal. All 3 players of the week.
Yeah, talk to us about the punt returns. What is it that you saw that enabled you to get some big yards that maybe you haven't been able to get in returns so far this year?
Well, I mean, that's just part of it is going after blocks, people trying to get their kicks off quickly. The ball gets to our returners before their guys get down there, the defenders get down the field to cover, and then we're able to get the ball and go with it. So we get bigger returns that way.
How about the blocked field goal? What was the key to being able to get a hand on that one?
I mean, Trey just did a really good job. I mean, they had one guy there blocking 2, and it was him or Matt to try to get in to get it, and they blocked Matt, and he got in and made a good line for the ball and went exactly where I told him to go to block it, and did a good job with it.
Let's turn our attention to this week. What do you see in the Musselman Applemen and their special teams with Blake Hartman? They're always dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, Hartman just does a good job for him, and he's the only person back on punt, and he's the one guy dotting their kick returns. So they want him to get the ball, and he's had big returns, so we'll have to contain him.
Coach, good luck.
Thank you, Matt.
Well, it's going to have to be a good effort all the way around, all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams for both of these teams when Musselman and Martinsburg meet tomorrow.
Yeah, 2 good teams. All facets of the game have to be good, and for Martinsburg, this is their last tune-up before the playoffs, so they got to make it count.
Once again, game time switched from tonight to tomorrow night, 7 p.m. at Coburn Field. We'll be on the air at 6 with the pregame on the radio and television. Stay tuned for more Miller Time.
I was looking at Paul. CBS News special report. The Justice Department says Cesar Sayoc faces up to 48 years in prison for allegedly sending at least 13 pipe bombs to opponents of President Trump. FBI Director Chris Wray.
Though we're still analyzing the devices in our laboratory, these are not hoax devices.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions.
This is utterly unacceptable. Political violence or the threat of violence is antithetical to our vigorous system of self-government.
CBS's Peter King.
Police confiscated a white van that was covered with pictures and paraphernalia supporting President Trump and conservative causes in general. Several pictures of President Trump were on there, Vice President Pence as well. One sticker saying, "I am President Trump. I appreciate the message." Another saying, "CNN sucks."
Asked whether he'd be contacting President Obama and others targeted, the president said minutes ago,
"If they wanted me to, but I think we'll probably pass."
CBS News special report. I'm Allison Keys.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Take it slower and safer on the roadways tonight. Persistent rain going to keep things a little bit on the slick side, and also some reduced visibilities at times. Temperatures in the lower 40s first thing in the morning. Daytime highs near 50. Rain to start your Saturday, but showers will gradually diminish through the afternoon. Sunday fairly dry, but Sunday night into Monday, some more showers. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
I'm Berkeley County Prosecutor Katie Wilkes Delegate. My dad, Judge Chris Wilkes, is running for State Supreme Court. Dad has been a judge here for 25 years, and in this job, experience matters. More importantly, Dad is a family man who taught me the value of honesty, hard work, and public service, values we are missing in Charleston. Please join me in voting for Chris Wilkes to send him to Charleston and restore integrity and respect to our highest court. Judge Wilkes will get it done.
Paid for by Wilkes for Supreme Court.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
The World Series moves to L.A. I am Keith Irizarry. Game number 3, Red Sox and the Dodgers. Boston up 2-0. Rick Porcello goes for the Sox. For L.A., it's Walker Buehler. In the playoffs, Buehler has given up 9 runs, both in losses for L.A. For Porcello, hasn't faced the Dodgers since 2011. Boston yet to lose a road game in these playoffs. All right, let's go to the NFL and some bad news for the Texans and Texans wideout Will Fuller. A torn ACL. He is done for the year. Now let's talk about a few other players that are out at least this week. Royce Freeman, Jamison Crowder. Looks like Robbie Anderson is trending towards not playing for the Bears. Bengals will not have Vontaze Burfict in their lineup. Looks like Peyton Barber will be in the lineup as per Dirk Cutter. I'm Keith Irizarry, and this is NBC Sports Radio.
Before running for Attorney General, Patrick Morrissey got rich as a Washington lobbyist for pharmaceutical distributors, including Cardinal Health. Morrissey admits it.
We did do some lobbying work.
So while Morrissey was lobbying for Cardinal, the company shipped over 6.5 million opioid pills to a single pharmacy in Mount Gay Shamrock, West Virginia. Then, when Morrissey ran for Attorney General, Cardinal contributed to his campaign. Here's 60 Minutes.
Records show he also took more than $8,000 in political contributions from Cardinal Health.
Now, Morrissey is being sued because he refuses to turn over documents about his connections to the opioid industry. He doesn't want West Virginians to know that he settled for pennies on the dollar with the opioid companies that his family's lobbying firm made millions off of. Patrick Morrissey is still taking care of the drug companies and covering it up.
I'm Joe Manchin, candidate for the United States Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Manchin for West Virginia.
And we welcome you back into Miller Time on this Friday night, an unusual fall Friday.
Again, it's weird having you here on a Friday.
It's weird being here. I put up with you 4 days a week.
Yeah, usually Friday's our buffer day.
Yeah, it gives us that long weekend, and then we can recoup and come back for 2 full hours on Monday.
Yeah, we see each other every Saturday anyway.
Yeah, including tomorrow.
I was going to say, and we'll see each other tomorrow.
There it is.
Shepherd game.
We'll be in Shepherdstown, and then we'll be in opposite places together for the Martinsburg game tomorrow evening. So, all right, one more time, the Martinsburg Musselman game postponed from tonight to tomorrow with the anticipation of the heavy rains. At this point, I know they haven't developed yet, but still in the forecast, the decision made early in the day. So mark your calendar, and 7 o'clock tomorrow, be at Coburn Field. Although I'd probably be there a little early to make sure you get a good seat.
I think there's going to be a few people there.
I believe so. And
probably including some other coaches from around the state.
And some other fans maybe now because you don't have other games that will be going on. So what's going to be good is it's a playoff atmosphere. It's two playoff teams. This would be a late playoff game. Consider this would be
a quarter or semifinal.
Semifinal is what it would be, because 2 and 3, if you win through your first 2 rounds, this is a semifinal game where the winner would go to the state championship.
So in 3 weeks, these teams could see each other again.
Yep. So that makes it a great matchup, and it'll be a great atmosphere. All right, we'll talk a little college football this half hour, including the Shepherd Rams. But first, we got to take care of business.
Didn't get to do one of these yesterday with no show. But it's time to take a look at what's going on tomorrow in sports history. Martinsburg will play Musselman tomorrow. That is October 27th.
I don't know what happened today because we didn't have this yesterday. I'm lost.
1961, the American Basketball League starts play. Was that a predecessor to the NBA? Was that a
1961? I wasn't here yet.
Was that a CFL to the NFL, or was that a?
I would have to look that one up and learn a little more.
1979, the Islanders scored 2 goals within 6 seconds and 3 goals within 44 seconds.
Wow, that's impressive.
3 goals in 6 seconds, or 2 goals in 6 seconds is pretty impressive.
Must have been one right off the face-off.
Yeah. See, the Capitals stink one up last night.
4-1 they lost against Edmonton.
Yeah. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit later in the show.
I think you said all you needed to say.
Yeah, exactly. 1985, Anthony Carter begins NFL streak of 100 consecutive games with a reception. 1992, Don Bailey appointed the first manager of the Colorado Rockies. Let's go to the 2000s. We'll move on up a little bit. We got a lot of stuff to get into. 2001, the 13th College Football Holy War. Boston College beats Notre Dame 21-17 in Chestnut Hill. Again, Boston College is really falling off.
Yeah.
Notre Dame's got a big game in San Diego tomorrow, taking on the midshipmen of the Naval Academy. Go Navy. And one more for you. This is a good one. This is a good one to end on. 2004, Boston Red Sox win the World Series for the first time in 86 years, breaking the curse of the Bambino.
Tonight.
And hey, I remember watching that.
They take a 2-0 lead into Game 3 of the World Series. So
pulling a Matt Miller here, I remember watching that event.
And who's pitching tonight for the Dodgers? Bueller.
Is it Bueller? Is he pitching tonight for the Dodgers?
He is, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. They got the young guy going, but, I mean, that's basically where it falls in the rotation, and we'll see if the young kid's got ice water in the veins and can go out there in the warmer weather and get it done. Yeah, I think the Dodgers get this one tonight. I really do.
You don't think they go down 3-0?
No, I don't think so. I think they get this one.
How many games do you think the series is going? Would it surprise you if it only went 5?
No, but it wouldn't surprise me if it went 6 either. I could see the Dodgers maybe getting 2 of these at home.
You can see it going back and forth.
Is this? I haven't even looked at the full schedule. Is this the 2-3-2 or is it the 2-2-1-1-1?
I think it's the 2-2-1-1-1.
Okay.
I think that's the format.
All right.
Now, we should know that. We are the experts. People do listen to us for this kind of information.
I just haven't looked at the full schedule.
No, it's the 2-2-1-1-1.
I've just been following the basic game itself. You know, hey, they're playing tonight. Game 2's tomorrow. They're off a day. Game 3. But I didn't pay attention to the full schedule.
You pay more attention when it's your team. All right, one of the home games.
Absolutely. All right, let's turn our attention back to the Shepherd University Rams as we began this segment, just kind of quickly mentioning that tomorrow we'll be together at that Rams game against West Virginia Wesleyan. Shepherd, I think, really bounced back nicely last week, getting the win on the road after really a tough performance the week earlier at home against Fairmont State.
They did. When you look at the last couple games, really the last 3, the passing game really hasn't been there as much as it was early on in the season. It's kind of fallen off a little bit. But what has helped Shepherd is the revived run game, if you will. And it's different this year than it was last year or the year before because there's 3 running backs that Shepherd is utilizing, and 3 running backs that have had really significant games so far this season. It was Squire last week in the big game against West Virginia Wesleyan.
32 yards.
Then you've had Ty Hebron, and then Sturdivant, who was the starting running back at the beginning of the season. So you've had 3 different running backs. You go, okay, who's the number 1 here? And I think Coach Ernie McCook is just right now riding the hot hand.
And that hot hand would have to be Squire, who is coming off of a huge game.
Yes, you would expect him to be in the backfield with Tyson Bagent to start this game. But again, don't be surprised if you see 3 running backs rotating until some can hit a couple holes and really get rolling.
All right, let's get it started. You had a chance to talk on Wednesday with head coach Ernie McCook, and you started with?
Just talking about the big win against Urbana.
It was a great road win, tough road win, long trip. Our kids did a great job staying focused through the entire time. We had, practiced halfway in between, and I just liked our process of how we prepared for that game, and it showed up. Our defense played very well. Our offense executed where they needed to, and the kicking game handled the challenges of the wind and did a nice job.
When you look at the running game this year, it seems like each game somebody new steps up and is your leading rusher. How impressed are you with really 3 running backs that are running the ball really well this year?
Well, they're all young. They're all really young kids, and I think the more reps they get, the better they're only going to be. I think they have a high ceiling, all 3 of them, so I'm really looking forward to their progression in the program. But I'm really impressed with them.
How much does that help the pass game when you can run the ball that well?
Well, I think anytime you can create balance, the passing helps the running game helps the passing game, and we can keep the defense off balance themselves. I think we've got a great chance of being successful.
When you look at this Wesleyan team, not necessarily great in the wins and loss column, but they've been in a few of those losses within a score or 2. How do you see them coming in Saturday?
Well, I can tell you the hours of film that our coaches watch at West Virginia Wesleyan doesn't look at the standings or their win-loss record. We look at how well they're coached, how hard their kids play, and the talent that they have in a lot of different positions. So that's how we're preparing our team, and we're going to prepare for a very good competitive football team coming here on Saturday that we're going to have to play well and execute to be successful.
When you look at the weather, probably your least desirable weather conditions coming up Saturday, cold and rain, does that affect your game plan at all?
Well, I think we have a very balanced game plan that we can adapt to the weather, whatever it may be, and offensively and in the kicking game and defensively. So I'm not really concerned about that. I have trust in our coaches that they'll be able to adjust accordingly.
When you look at the rankings that came out this week, what were your initial thoughts not being in that top 10?
It's not where I wanted to be when that first ranking came out, but I understand where it is, and you obviously can't argue with it. Congratulations to Notre Dame. They're having a heck of a year, and I'm glad they're representing the Mountain East right now at the top of that. We're still mathematically involved in it, so I'm never going to give up hope. We're going to focus on playing West Virginia Wesleyan. But other than Notre Dame being number 1, I really don't know who 2 through 10 is. I know we're not in it, and I know our focus is West Virginia Wesleyan.
And your focus is definitely this week. With just a few weeks left in the season, what is your goal as this season progresses and comes to a close in the regular season at least?
Well, we have 3 regular season games left, and we're going to play 3 one-game seasons. And we're going to put all our chips in on this game and give it our best effort as a program, and then line up on after that and see how this falls out.
Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck Saturday. We'll talk to you after the game.
Awesome. Thank you.
Shepherd head coach Ernie McCook. Always good talking to Coach McCook every Wednesday.
Well, and I like his approach, 3 single game seasons. Let's go get these 3. Let's finish 8-2, and at that point, you let the chips fall where they may.
Stranger things have happened in these regional rankings, like Shepherd not getting number 1 seeds when they obviously should. But when the regional rankings come out, a lot of things can change week to week. With that being said, you usually don't see teams that aren't in that initial top 10 making the playoffs, but anything can happen. They got to do what they can control, which is winning out the remainder of their 3 games.
And through the years when former head coach Monty Cater's been on those committees that help to position the teams in the regional rankings and ultimately to decide the playoffs, strength of schedule is one of the things that they look at. And unfortunately, Shepherd is not going to get a ton of strength of schedule help with a win against West Virginia Wesleyan tomorrow. So again, all they can do is face the opponent that they face, go out and execute, get a win, and then see where they go from there.
And the other, when you look at strength of schedule, you got to look at the fact that Shepherd's dropped the 2 games that they couldn't afford to drop. I mean, if it's an out-of-conference game, which Shepherd doesn't have, they may have next year, depending on what their PSAC schedule looks like. It's not a game where there's somebody that's below you that was just an upset or anything. You've lost to the 2 teams that you need to at least win one against to be relevant. So that's just going to hurt them even more because they now not only have to win out their last 2 games, but they can't have an opportunity to beat Fairmont State or Notre Dame again. So it's those games have already happened when the committee's looking at it going, all right, it's right now Notre Dame, Fairmont, and Shepherd 1 through 3 in the Mountain East. Shepherd can't do anything about that because they've lost those 2 games.
Well, a big game last night in college football for the West Virginia Mountaineers. We wanted to see how's this team going to respond coming off of a bye and a very disappointing effort overall out at Iowa State.
And boy, did they.
They did?
In a big way.
Yeah, you texted me. I listened to the first quarter, and it seemed like they bogged down a little bit offensively. A field goal block, a field goal miss, a 10-0 lead after the first quarter, and I'm going.
Then the second quarter came around.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that next. And this break has the Mountaineer Report with Tony Caridi. I'm sure he'll tell you just a little bit more about it. You're listening to Miller Time. We'll be back after this.
Fire off this season with Sunfire Energy Solutions. When it comes to gas, wood, and pellet fireplaces, stoves, and inserts, we've got it all. Quadrifire, Harmon, Heat and Glow, Vermont Castings, and much more. Come by and see the 3,000 square foot showroom located in downtown Martinsburg with hundreds of outdoor amenities to choose from. Are you already dreading the expected heating bill increases? We can help. Sunfire Energy Solutions is your total energy experts. Find out more on Facebook and sunfireenergysolutions.com or stop by the showroom today.
I'm Bill Schwartz, and I'm running for West Virginia Supreme Court, Division 2, not against Judge Wilkes. You can vote for both of us. I've been a West Virginia lawyer for more than 30 years, representing people like you here in the Eastern Panhandle. Our system is broken, and I need your help to fix it. First, we need predictability and fairness. Next, we need more recusals if there's even the appearance of impropriety. And finally, respect every taxpayer dollar. I'm Bill Schwartz, and I'm asking the Eastern Panhandle for your vote. You can help me fix this.
Schwartz for WV.com, paid for by candidate.
It was a Thursday night football spectacular as West Virginia bangs the Bears. Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Caridi. That story coming up on today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics.
When you order your groceries online at Kroger.com or with the Kroger app, you can do your shopping anytime, anywhere, like the gym, the office, or your favorite comfy couch. Plus, when you visit Kroger.com, you can find hundreds of money-saving digital coupons. And whether you place your order on your phone, tablet, or computer, it's still your neighborhood Kroger. So you'll find all the fresh choices, low prices, and great deals you love. And once you've selected your coupons and finished your shopping, you choose a pickup time that fits your schedule. And relax while your order is hand-picked, just the way you like it. Then all you have to do is hop in the car and drive to the store's pickup location. And a friendly Kroger associate will load your specially picked order for you. You don't even have to get out of your vehicle. It's so convenient. Save time. Shop online today at Kroger.com.
Talk about a bounce-back game. West Virginia had that and a whole lot more. For 12 days, West Virginia had heard about its bad defeat against Iowa State, and the Mountaineers left no doubt whatsoever that they were ready for the Baylor Bears. WVU exploded to a 41-0 lead at halftime on their way to a 58-14 final over Baylor. Quarterback Will Greer returned to form, completing 17 of 27 passes for 353 yards and 3 touchdowns. 2 Mountaineer receivers finished the game with over 100 yards and receptions. David Sills, 5 catches for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Gary Jennings, exactly 100 receiving yards on 3 catches, including a 53-yard reception for a touchdown. 4 touchdown passes between Sills and Jennings. On the ground, West Virginia also came up big. The Mountaineers scoring 3 rushing touchdowns. Martell Pettaway scoring, Letty Brown scoring, and Will Greer, yes, Will Greer, on a quarterback plunge from 1 yard away, scored West Virginia's touchdown. The Mountaineers defensively did a fantastic job against Baylor, knocking out starting quarterback Charlie Brewer, who finished the night just 1 out of 8 passing, including 3 interceptions. All totaled, West Virginia with 568 yards of total offense, holding Baylor to 287 yards. With the victory, West Virginia now bowl eligible. The Mountaineers 6-1 overall, 4-1 in Big 12 play, and they set up a big showdown next Saturday against Texas. That is today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from IMG.
After removing your creme brulee from the oven, your dessert should look just scrumptious. Now sprinkle with some sugar and use your torch to braise it to a golden, crispy brown.
Disasters happen. Fire, water, and natural disasters. Tell your insurance provider you prefer Blue Ridge Property Restore. Blue Ridge Property Restore, getting you back from disaster faster.
Join us next week when we tackle Baked Alaska.
Judge William Thompson is the only experienced circuit judge in the race for West Virginia Supreme Court Division II. Judge William Thompson has been recognized by the White House for his work with drug courts and has proven solutions to the opioid epidemic. He's battled to protect children and reunite families. Judge Thompson cares about all of West Virginia, not just Charleston. On November 6th, vote for Judge William Thompson. Paid for by William Thompson for Justice Committee. Mary Prim, Treasurer. We're back once again on Miller Time. Matt Miller, Matt Crawford with you till 6 this evening. If you're watching on TV 10, that'll wrap up our local broadcast coverage tonight as well. Normally, I know we've got local programming that goes until 10 o'clock each weekday evening, and that usually includes high school football on Friday night, but Martinsburg and Musselman are not playing now until tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So we'll have just 1 hour on the TV tonight, and then we'll be on tomorrow night from 6 o'clock until 10:30. So tune in tomorrow, or bring your radio to the game. Come on out and be a part of the action live, because this is going to be, I think this is going to be a fun game. You know, it's a playoff caliber game.
It's shaping up to be.
Let's get out there and support your team and enjoy being there at Coburn Field. All right, big one last night. As you heard from Tony Caridi, West Virginia came out and responded in a big way. I'm still a little concerned, though, Matt, because it still seems like they're a one-quarter team right now.
And I don't want to say one quarter. The third quarter was still productive.
Right.
What I'm concerned about is, from watching the game last night, I didn't see them put a whole lot of drives together. The big play is nice. Don't get me wrong. And that's what the Mountaineer offense did so well last year, was the big play possibility. But you want to see them, or at least I would like to see them, put together 10, 12 play drives a little bit more. And last night, a lot of the scoring was on big plays, and where there was 2 or 3 play drives, where it was just first play of the drive, you're going long, and it's a 1 or 2 play drive. So I would like to see them put together 8, 10, 12 play drives instead of just hoping for the bombs, which I think was part of their issue against Iowa State. Iowa State was bringing pressure, and they didn't allow time to set up for the big play.
That's what concerned me in that opening quarter. I was out and jumped in my vehicle, and as soon as I turned on the radio, they had just scored. So it was 7-0.
The fourth play of the game.
Yeah, and I'm hearing, 3 plays in or whatever it was.
Yeah, Gary Jennings. I mean, he could not have been more wide open.
Tony Caridi made it sound just like that as he described where the defender went with another receiver, and that left him wide open. But then, the defense did such a great job the rest of that first quarter, set up the offense beautifully. And as you said, they couldn't sustain it and ended up having a field goal block, missing a field goal, settled for a field goal, and was 10-0 after 1 as I was turning off the game, getting out of my vehicle at home. And I thought, oh, boy, here we go. They're going to let Baylor stay in it. Well, let's see if we can hear at least a minute or two from head coach Dana Holgerson following the game, his thoughts on the win.
Really proud of our guys, coaches and players, just overall for, really what they've done here in the last 12 days. Pretty determined after 12 days ago. Thought at the time that wasn't who we are, and that's not who we are. But, especially there's about 12 older guys that I really lean on, and they really stepped up and took this team and said, we're gonna practice hard, and we're gonna work hard, and we're gonna go out there and we're gonna play hard. And that's what we did. So finally played a complete game, 4 quarters. It's just overall just happy with what we did today.
Offensively, a little sputter early, but then all of a sudden you just got cranking. Anything just turned on? Defense sort of set you up? What was it that really got you going?
No, we didn't just 3 and out and stink, early. We moved the ball, had good field position, moved the ball, played really good defensively. Just sputtered a little bit and had to kick field goals. Was a little disappointed on a couple of those field goals, but I got a lot of confidence in Evan, so we stuck with it and then ended up getting some field goals. That's not really what this team's been doing all year, but there's going to be times where we need to do that, and made some adjustments, kept plugging away, and then started doing a better job of finishing some drives. So that's just football, just the way things go.
Is that the best defensive effort you've seen all season?
Yeah, it's hard to argue with what they did. Created turnovers, won the turnover battle 4-0. I don't have the field position numbers, but I'm assuming we dominated field position, with turnovers, with, just making them punt quick. We tackled better. Is one of the things that we came out of that game last week, and I didn't think that's who we were, but just didn't do a good job of tackling. Missed 31 tackles, I think, but I knew that's not who we were. Same thing with blocking. I said this all week, been saying it to him for 12 days. Just block and tackle like you did in the first 5 games, and that's pretty much what we do.
Dana, thoughts on Bill's performance tonight?
Yeah, I thought he was solid. I really did. He managed it good. The thing I like about it is, we had a whole bunch of people touch the ball. We had I just have little notes or whatever, but, there was a lot of guys that went in there and touched the ball. So he's spreading the ball around a lot, did a good job of preparing all week. He made a lot of good checks at the line of scrimmage, which is one thing that he does great through completions. Managed it well and brought a lot of energy. So I was really proud of how he played.
Mountaineer head coach Dana Holgerson, his thoughts on the win, the play of the team as a whole, the defense, and quarterback Will Greer, who had a pretty good night.
Yeah, he had a good night. He had over 300 yards in the first half, but only finished with 353. But the backup did come in the fourth quarter.
And that's good. They needed a game like that as well to be able to get some players in. All right, one more break to take, and then we'll be back to quickly wrap up today's Miller Time.
Joe Ferretti of Ferretti Law Office. The most common question I hear from people injured in an automobile wreck or because someone else was at fault is, can their insurance company do that? If you call Ferretti Law Office at 264-8505, I will answer that question and other questions you have for free. Get educated and get ready to fight back. Call 264-8505 to protect your rights and get the compensation you deserve. Put my 31 years of personal injury and trial experience to work for you. At Ferretti Law Office, we're here to help.
I'm John Doyle, running for the House of Delegates in the 67th District. I've always stood strong for clean air and clean drinking water. The proposed Rockwool plant will bring unneeded and unwanted pollution to Jefferson County. And on top of that, they're being given a $6 million tax break to do it. A tax break that is not available to existing Jefferson County businesses, were they to expand and add jobs. This makes no sense. Vote John Doyle for delegate on November 6th. I'm John Doyle. I approve this message.
Paid for by Doyle for delegate.
Crime is on the rise. Shield yourself with a new Smith & Wesson MP 2.0 shield, chambered in 9mm, 40 Smith & Wesson or 45 ACP. Valley Guns 2 has a wide selection of Smith & Wesson handguns, including the Model 60 and 640 Pro Series revolvers. For the ladies, there's the Smith & Wesson 380 Shield Easy. It's easy to load, easy to shoot, and easy to carry. For the full line of Smith & Wesson handguns, head to Valley Guns 2, Exit 5 off I-81, Inwood, West Virginia, online at valleyguns2.com.
Well, we welcome you back one final time to Miller Time. I'm in studio because, Matt, no game tonight.
No game tonight. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. kickoff, Musselman at Martinsburg, 6 p.m. pregame show. Hear that right here on Talk Radio WRNR, our app, TV 10, or the WRNR TV link on YouTube. No reason not to watch the game or get out there and listen to us on our app.
There it is. That does it for Miller Time.
ABC Sports Radio Update starts now.
The World Series moves to L.A. I am Keith Irizarry. Game number 3, Red Sox and the Dodgers. Boston up 2-0. Rick Porcello goes for the Sox.